Hi there underwater filmmakers and welcome back to another episode of reviewing your underwater films. Today we'll be looking at a film made by Chris Spaceandsea. Coming up. Thanks for tuning in again, guys. As you can see, I've got company again today. Sebastian couldn't not join me again for this episode today, and I let him in because, as usual, he brought some beers. Cheers, mate. So we can actually chill out, have a relaxed evening, and watch another one of your underwater films. Now, today we have chosen a film by Chris Spaceandsea, and we're curious to see what Chris has come up with for us. So let's jump right into it.
Very dramatic.
Yeah, very dramatic music. Oh wow, nice. Head on. Cool.
Oops, and there goes the white balance.
Hello. Nice. Cool.
Nice shot.
Ah, cool. Dancing fish. Nice. All right, let me just stop this. Cool. All right, thank you so much, Chris, for sending in that film. I did enjoy it. I have to say, some really nice imagery in that sequence, in that clip. There is a couple of things that I do want to pass on to you as tips, and then I'll pass the word on to you if that's okay with you.
All right.
Yeah, okay, excellent. All right, so Chris, I really like, there was a couple of really good shots inside of that film. Not all of them, but probably half a dozen or so were really good. I really enjoyed them. I think you got the white balance right, you got some movement in the shot, you've got the exposure right, the focus was at the right place. So there was a couple of these, but unfortunately there was also quite a few shots that were sort of semi-ideal, to put it that way. They were either overexposed. There was some shots that I would have just not included in the edit because they were not really supporting the story that you were trying to tell. Like the shots, there was like one or two shots of the fish that you captured sort of from behind, so you got the tail of the fish, which I understand there was a barracuda and like a boxfish that are sort of a bit more special and you wanted to include them into your edit, but just having the tail of these fish in there doesn't really benefit the edit, in my opinion. So I would have kept them out. You had a couple of shots that were really nice, some profiles of some fish, some head-on shots of fish that really worked well. I did like the music. At first I thought it was a little over dramatic, but then it sort of eased out a little bit, and I I actually found that the music fitted the imagery quite well. Yeah. What do you have to say?
Well, I think it's a very good basic to start working with for video editing and then for filming underwater. So as you said, there are some shots I wouldn't have included in the whole film, and I think it's a very good example. And even I think even we always do that. And you're reviewing your own film and think, no, this one has to go out, and then you start shrinking the length of your clip a little, or of your whole movie a little bit.
Do you know what they call that?
No.
Killing you, baby.
Yeah.
It is. It's actually that, because you've got that one shot that you really like for personal reason, because it's the first time you filmed that animal, you particularly like that kind of animal, whatever it is, and you really want to have that in your shot.
The only shot I made.
Exactly. But if it's not a good shot or it doesn't fit into the story, it has to go, no matter how much you like it. And I've killed shots of whales and dolphins and stuff out of edits because that were just not fitting or not good enough.
Yeah. And I think in the video description it said it is a GoPro 7.
Yeah, correct.
And so, well, there are certain limitations to that kind of camera. I think on the channel you get the one or the other video talking about like limitations of action cameras and how you could step up your game with a different kind of camera. But if you're using that kind of camera, I think, and I'm not sure if every shot, or even if you use the red filter at all, and if you use the red filter, I'm not sure if you use the filter all the time. So I think one way to improve the image quality would be to use in certain situations a red filter, and sometimes change the angle or change your position where you're filming. Matthias said as well there are some shots which are overexposed, and you could change that in changing your position to the fish or the position to the sun, especially. As you said, there's some pretty cool stuff even with the GoPro. Some very nice perspective, and and sometimes you're starting with a 5-minute video, and at the end it's only like 60-80 seconds long because you put all the stuff you didn't want or you were not happy with it out of the clip, and it's a very nice composition then. So
exactly. Yeah, I agree, and I think that's a very important point that you bring up here, Sebastian. That whatever camera, it doesn't matter whatever camera you're filming with, but you need to know the limitations of the camera. And obviously, GoPros or action cams per se, they have limitations that certain shots you just can't get with a GoPro. Like you can't really get a very close-up macro shot. It just doesn't work with a GoPro unless you have extra accessories like close-up lenses, diopter, all that sort of stuff. But other than that, you won't be able to do that with a GoPro. Also, if you're in very dark environments, the GoPro will have trouble because it's got only a very small image sensor built into the camera. So you need to know these limitations of the camera that you're using and try to film accordingly to it. So try to film to the advantages of your camera, in my opinion. Now, I think you've done a really good job considering that this was a GoPro that you filmed all this with. And I think, as Sebastian said, if you to improve your filmmaking underwater, you can either think about upgrading to a slightly better camera. Maybe look at a point-and-shoot camera, maybe something like the Olympus TG6 or something like a Sony RX100, something around those cameras, those lines. Or you can start maybe using accessories for your GoPro, like having a tripod if you want to get a steady shot of something, or using lights. I don't think that you've used any lights, which is okay. There's no need to use lights, but that would be something that you can also use to help just bring subjects, just bring them out better in your images. Like I think there was a moray eel in one shot that was fairly dark, and if you had some lights with you, you might have been able to just bring it out a little nicer, a little better. So those are basically the options. I think from a filmmaking perspective, like the stability of your shots, the composition of your shots, most of them were really good. So that's a very good start, and I'm sure you can build up on that. Yeah.
And one other tip: if you're filming with a GoPro and your final delivery resolution is lower than the resolution you're capturing, you could avoid stuff like, I think it's was it a crocodile fish?
Yeah.
In that shot, you see really the limitations of like a GoPro with the corner softness and the distortion in the corners. What you could do is that go a little bit further away, film it 4K, and then crop in the edit. And because like your final delivery is still at maximum quality if you deliver in HD, but you won't have the corner softness if you go a little bit further away from the subject. But you could still have like a close, let's call it a close-up of your subject.
Sure.
So it's kind of workarounds when you're working with like a GoPro or something like that.
Yeah, good point. Or maybe try to go from the extra wide field of view to sort of a
narrow,
medium or narrow field of view to avoid that blurriness on the edges of your image. But yeah, good point there. Thank you. Cool. So do you have anything else to add to today's film that we've reviewed?
Keep diving, keep filming.
Excellent. Practice makes champions. Thank you very much, Chris, for submitting your film to this series. It was a pleasure reviewing it and giving you feedback to it. We're obviously gonna link the film itself and your YouTube channel down in the video description below. So if you guys want to check out any other films made by Chris Spaceandsea, click the links down in the video description. That will take you right there. If you have a film that you want us to review, please don't hesitate to send me a message either through Facebook, Instagram, YouTube itself, or a very traditional email will do the job as well. And I'll be more than happy to sit here, review your film, give you feedback, and well, maybe drink a beer with Sebastian if he drops in again next time we'll do these sessions here. Excellent. Thanks for being here. A pleasure having you.
Thanks for having me.
It's actually really good to get a second opinion on these films, I find, because I don't cover all the things, obviously, so it's always good to have someone else looking at it from a different angle. So thanks for taking the time. Thank you guys for being here with us and watching today's video. If you do have any questions, feel free to put them down in the comment section, and please do not forget to hit the like button, letting us know if this video was entertaining, useful, or educational to you. Thanks for your time. Stay safe, go diving, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.